even more so because now they're trying to impeach President Trump on the basis of a constitutionally protected speech. So this involves not only the criteria for impeachment under the Constitution, which the Democrats tried to stretch beyond any rational basis, but they're also trying to impeach him in violation of the First Amendment. The speech he made, which I disapprove of thoroughly, I think he was wrong to give it. But the speech he made was completely protected by the Constitution. The leading case is Brandenburg versus Ohio, which involved a Ku Klux Klan Nazi who was making terrible allegations, killed the Jews, send the blacks back to Africa. And the Supreme Court unanimously held that that was protected unless there was an immediate incitement and direct incitement to violence. And that's not what happened on Wednesday of last week.
All right, there's a few issues we need to talk about tonight, but this is Court TV, so we'll start off focusing on the law. And what Professor Dershowitz was arguing there is that the president's speech was constitutionally protected speech, protected by Amendment number 1. That's his take on it. I wonder what the think tank is going to say tonight. Let's introduce him. Joining us tonight in Chicago, Illinois, trial attorney David Otunga is with us. I have to go to David Otunga first, okay? Not because he can pick me up and body slam me, but because he went to Harvard Law School. Alan Dershowitz was a professor at Harvard Law School, so that's the only reason you're going first tonight, David. But let's start here. Do you agree with the professor that this was constitutionally protected speech by the president?
Well, Vinny, also, Alan Dershowitz was my criminal law professor, so I was a student of his my 1L year. He makes fantastic points, and I have to agree with him. I do think it was constitutionally protected, while I don't morally agree with anything President Trump said. However, the argument could be made that the speech was intended as incitement. I think the argument could be made on the opposite side as well.
There was a line in the speech that said, "I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard." So if he's talking about peacefully and patriotically, is that direct and immediate and imminent? David Otunga.
All right. So, look, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to disagree with my professor and to bring up the opposing argument. I took that as sarcasm, especially in taken within the whole context of the speech when he's talking about violence and we need to fight. We need to fight like hell or we're not going to have a country. And I disagree with Professor Dershowitz respectfully because I believe this was imminent. You have to look at the situation. This crowd is here. President Trump is talking to them. During the speech, he talks about what is going to happen immediately after this. He's giving immediate instructions, imminent instructions, saying we're going to march down to the Capitol. At one point, he even said he was going to go with them. So he's directly telling the people, directing them to go to the Capitol. He singled out Mike Pence. He singled out Nancy Pelosi, which basically was giving targets. And going back to Dershowitz's point that he didn't specifically tell this crowd, go there and be violent, he for darn sure alluded to it. You know, and I'm sure Mr. Trump is going to say that he was using the word fight figuratively. However, if taken literally, that is definitely impeachable speech.
Well, the Supreme Court has said that the speech to constitute unprotected incitement, it must advocate for illegal action to immediately take place. Did you hear an advocacy, David Otunga, for immediate illegal action?
See, here's the thing. If you were to just read his language, his speech written out, that takes away all of the feeling. That takes away the sarcasm. President Trump is extremely charismatic. He's a reality TV star. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to get his point across, his emotion, his feeling, without necessarily saying it verbatim. So if you were to just read it on paper, sure, it sounds protected, but you're not getting the feeling. And also, again, to go to this imminence, I think this was imminent because he said, as soon as we're done here, we're going to go down to the Capitol.